All right, so good evening, everyone. I know today the light was misbehaving, so I think that is why we are having it very late at this very time. But then I'm very sure, irrespective of everything, we still have to do it because the paper is tomorrow, and I'm sure we can still do something small before maybe God willing tomorrow comes. Yes, because it's very important. So you know your slice is about 7 lectures, right? Yes, 7 lectures. And I'm very positive that out of the seven, from the first lecture to the sixth lecture, I think your slice about, I think 8 lectures or so, 8 lectures. So I'm very positive from the first slide or the first lecture to the sixth lecture. That is where most of the questions will be coming from. So you you have to really pay attention to it. It has to do with I think on the first lecture, you see, you learned about um, the perspective and also the various views of development. Do you get it? Yes. See, we have several perspectives, and every perspective has their own view of development. So that slide is very, very important. So make sure you really delve into it. And I would have wanted us to start earlier so that I can briefly explain some of the key concepts to you. But as I said, because the lights were off, we couldn't start early as planned. But then, notwithstanding, I'm very sure we can still do something small. Yes. Yes. So I'm very sure we can still do something small. So I think yes. So in the first lecture, you see, you guys, you learned about development. And when we talk about development, we say development is essentially about three main things. So it's about change, continuity, and also appropriateness. But then when we say change, you see we have two forms of change. So a change can be positive or negative. You get it. But then in the aspect of development, this change here we are talking about is positive change. So whenever you hear development, it's essentially about three main things. So it's about change, continuity, and also appropriateness. Do you get it? And the change has to be a positive change. And when we move on to the second aspect, that's continuity. Continuity is when development makes sense to the people. Are you okay? So that is continuity. So when development actually makes sense to the people, that is continuity. And also the last one is appropriateness. So when we say something is appropriate, then it means that that thing is in line, it's an order. Are you okay? So development must be appropriate in so many sense, in our social sense, in our cultural sense, environmental sense. Are you okay? And also our cultural sense. So for instance, if government want to develop a particular community, and now the government they want to do, let's say, galamsey at that community, even though they are doing a galamsey to get resources, but then it does not make sense with the people. Are you okay? And also it's not appropriate to the people, because if you do galamsey, now you are creating another social problem. Are you okay? So when we say development should be appropriate, it means that it should be something that wouldn't bring any effect to the people, or that doesn't have any characteristics or any bad consequences to the people. It means that that thing is appropriate. Yes. So a development is essentially about three main things. A change, that's a positive change. Continuity means that the development should make sense to the people. Are you okay? So for instance, let's say you want to create, you maybe the people are there and now you want to develop a footbridge. Are you okay? That footbridge you must explain for it to make sense to the people. Are you okay? So you can explain that, okay, now this road, let's say Tech Junction. So you see, if you look at Tech Junction, at first there was no footbridge there. But currently we have a footbridge. And the reason is that at first people were crossing the road and they were being knocked down by a car. You see, that road is a busy road. Now the government came in and they've constructed a footbridge. Are you okay? So now that is what something that makes sense to the people, because at first they were being knocked down by a car, but now because of the footbridge, it has reduced the tendency of accidents. So that's development making sense to the people. Are you okay? And that is continuity. So that is one aspect of development. Development is essentially about three things. So change, continuity, and appropriateness. Now, when we move on, we have meaning of development. Okay, so please, that aspect with the marching form, it will come. But then, as said, it will not come as in its definition. It will come in the form of examples. So I have some here. We will go through very soon. But I just want to touch on some aspects for you to just see. Okay. Now we have meanings of development. So the first meaning of development is what? Development as a vision. So when we say something is a vision, it means that thing is talking about how desirable a society is. Are you okay? Now let's look back in the olden days. You see, when you look at Ghana, it wasn't like this. Okay, even KNUST, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this. At first, KNUST wasn't like this. But then Nkrumah saw the vision, and now he has developed, put some things in place, some model in place, and now here we find ourselves. So that's development as a vision. So looking at how desirable a society is, and now you plan ahead to make it better in the future. That development as a vision. Now the second one is what? Development as a historical process. So in history, looking at how things were in the past, now we don't see it anymore. Now at first, KNUST was not called KNUST. Do you get it? It was called University of Technology. But due to some of the changes, that development, now University of Technology has been changed to Kwame Nkrumah University of what? Science and Technology. That is what? Development as a historical process. So some things are back, and now those things have helped us in these present times. That is what? Development as a historical process. Now the next one is what? Development as an action. So when we say development as an action, that is what? A deliberate effort to change things for the better. Okay, a deliberate action to change things for the better. Okay, yes. So please, the video will be there. So after everything, you can still come and access the video. Yes. So when we say development as an action, it simply means that a deliberate effort to change things for the better. Now let me give you an example. You see, when COVID came, the government, Akufo-Addo, made an announcement. That's, he placed some precautionary measures in place that now everybody must wear a nose mask. It's not a shoe, a mask. We must wear a nose mask. Now you cannot attest to it. Some people were not wearing it. And now it came a lockdown that we should be in a room. Some people say no, for them, they don't care about anybody. So they will still go out. Now, because government wanted to protect the people from the spread of the COVID-19, now government deployed military men to come on the field. So when they see you, they will beat you and you go back to your room. That's what development as an action, a deliberate effort to change things for the better. Now we say everybody should be in the room. They say they don't want to be in the room. So okay, now if you don't want to be in the room, that means I have to take an action. That is, I have to deploy soldiers to come. When they see you on the road, they will beat you. That is what development as an action. So this is what some meanings of development. Development as a vision, as a historical process, and also as an action. So this is just a brief about them. As I said, I don't want to dwell much on them because our time is fast spent. Now, this area is also very, very important, of which you get a matching on it. That is the views of development perspective. Now, you see, we have five main perspectives of development. Okay. Now, the first one is what? And every perspective has their own view of development. Now, the first one is what? Neoliberalism, or the neoliberalists. So when we say neoliberalism, they believe in what? In a capitalist perspective. So when we say something is capitalist, they it means we must have a free market where everyone benefits. You get it? So when we say someone is a neoliberalist, it means that person believes in capitalist perspective. And with capitalism, we must create a free market where everyone benefits. So you can bring your items, come and sell and get your profits and go back to your room. So that is what the perspective of what? Neoliberalism, or the neoliberalists. That is their view of development. So for them, they see development as a free market where everyone benefits. That is neoliberalism. Now, the second perspective is what? Is structuralism. Structuralism. So for them, they believe that the government has the responsibility to provide for its citizens. So for the structuralism, for them, their view of development is that when it comes to development, the responsibility lies on the state or the government. So that is what structuralism. That is their view of development. that when it comes to development, the responsibility lies on the government or the state. That is all. Now, the third one is interventionism. Interventionism. So for them, I believe that when it comes to development, we have losers and winners in the society. So with the interventionism, they believe that in a society we have both winners and losers. And now there should be an interventions put in place to make sure that we help those losers to reach a level of those who are the winners. That is what interventionism. So for them, they believe that when it comes to development, we have both losers and winners. And now we should put some interventions, some programs and policies in place to make sure that we create an evenly society so that we can help the poor to reach the level of the rich. That is what interventionism, that is their view of development. Now, the fourth one is people-centered. So that is a perspective. Now, the view of this people-centered is that when it comes to development, it lies on the individual, him or herself. That when it comes to development, it's all about empowerment. That individual has the capacity to change their own life. They have the capacity to make their own choices. They have the capacity to what? To solve their own problems. And how can they do that? Through empowerment. So with people-centered, their view of development is about empowerment, that we should empower people that they have the abilities, they have the capabilities to make their own what choices, to change their own life, to make their own decisions. That is people-centered. So when you see people-centered, it's all about empowerment, empowering people that they have their inherent abilities to make their own choices. That is what people-centered. Now, the last view of development or the last perspective is post-development. So with the post development, their view of development is this. So for them, they don't actually believe in development. And why are they saying this? They are saying that people use the idea of development as a means of getting power. And now when they get the power, now they don't even care about the promises that they made. A typical example is the politicians. When election is coming, now they can even come and fetch water for you. They can even come to your house and pound fufu for you because they need something from you. And now when they get the power, when you vote for them into office, now they don't care about you anymore. So that is what they put development. So for them, their view of development is that they don't actually believe development because they believe that people use the idea of development as a means of getting power, as a means of what? Of looking down on people. And now when they actually get what they want, they don't even care about people anymore. So that is what they put development. So these are the five perspectives of development and also how their view of development are. Please, I hope we are okay. These are very good. Like I said, I don't want to explain much because the time is far gone. I want to just do it sharp, sharp. So we can just zoom in into the questions, then we are done for the day. Okay. Please, if you just joined the channel, kindly make sure you like the session. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to the session for us. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going on sharp, sharp because I think there are some things we don't need to waste much time on them. Okay. So I think with the lecture one, I think that is the main thing that is very, very important there. Now let's just zoom you straight to the lecture two. Lecture two, yes. Lecture two is also very, very important um lecture that we must also look at something there at it. Yes. So lecture two, I'm coming, please give me a few seconds. I'm just opening the slide there so that I will know the heading of it. All right. So lecture two, where is it actually? Okay, now we are here. So lecture two actually talks about, let me see the heading. Yes, social welfare provision. Social welfare provision. That's lecture two, social welfare provision. Now, under this, there are some things that we must know. Okay. Now we have to know the meaning of what? Welfare. And you know, welfare means like when people are living a good standard. Are you okay? So when people are actually meeting their basic needs, it means they are enjoying welfare. So that is just the simple thing about welfare. But then we have some meanings of welfare. Now, welfare commonly refers to as what? Well-being. So welfare is the same as well-being. Are you okay? So in here, when you hear welfare, well-being should come to your mind because they are actually the same thing. But then welfare also refers to a range of services. So when you are talking about services like protecting like or providing services to help meet the needs of people, that is also welfare. So when we have educational structures, when we have health facilities, when we have food, we have clothing, we have housing, when these are all put in place, it is also called welfare. Are you okay? So welfare is also a range of services. Are you okay? Now the last definition of welfare is that welfare is can also be termed as what? Assistance to the poor. So when we are providing an assistance to the poor, is also welfare. Are you okay? Now we have some food stamps. When you are giving people food stamps, it's welfare. When you are providing a temporary financial assistance to the people, is also what? Welfare. So that is welfare. So welfare has diverse meanings, but then in the nutshell, it should be about what? About promoting the welfare and the well-being of people, or promoting the well-being of people, or raising the living standard of people, or making sure that the basic needs of people are being met. That is basically about welfare. All right. Now let's move on. Let's move on. Now this place is also very, very important. How do we measure welfare? How is welfare measured? So welfare is measured on two main level or at two main levels. So we measure welfare at the micro level and also at the macro level. Now, measuring welfare at the micro level is the same as, or it's also called what? Individual welfare. Okay, individual welfare. So individual welfare is the same as measuring welfare at the micro level. Are you okay? So micro level, we are dealing with the individual as a person. That is what micro level measurement of welfare. Now, let's say Mavis. So you see, Mavis is a student. Now, every morning, Mavis prefer to take a cup of tea before going for lectures. That is his or her individual what? Decision. And that is his or her welfare. Are you okay? So Mavis is actually a lady. So that's her welfare. Are you okay? So let's say we have Prince. So Prince actually want to eat rice before going for lectures every morning. That is Prince warfare. Okay, so when we say warfare at the micro level, it's the same as individual warfare. That is when the individual is actually having a subjective feeling, are you okay, or happiness. So when you are creating your own living condition, that is individual warfare. Now the next one is what? Macro level. So at the macro level, it's also termed as what? Collective welfare. So the micro level is individual welfare, and the macro level is what? Collective welfare. So when we say welfare is collective, then it means it is both private and public. Are you okay? So when both the private and the public come together, it is what? Collective welfare. Now let me give you an example. The government want to provide free senior high school to people so that we have better education. Now that's the government, that's the public doing their part. Now when they give you free senior high school, private as an individual, you have to also do your part. You have to also make sure that you wake up in the morning, you bath, then you go for lectures or you go for class. So you see, with collective welfare, the government has a role to play, and individually we also have a role to play. So that is what collective welfare. Please, do you understand? So that is how we measure welfare. So welfare is measured at two main levels. At the micro level, that is the individual welfare, and also the macro level, that's collective welfare. So please, this is also very, very important. Let's also pay critical attention to this as well. All right. Now, you see, in our exams, it will come in several sessions. So you have the OBJ session. We will have a session where we will be doing the marching, and the marching will be very, very plenty. Okay, yes, the warfare, the marching will be very, very plenty. Now we also have a session where we will provided with definitions and authors. Are you okay? So we have definitions and authors. One column is for definitions, another column is for authors. So who define them? Are you okay? So that aspect will also come. Then we also have a true or false session as well. So I think we will have about four main sessions in exams. Okay, so we will do some sample for you to understand. And of course, I've added the answers to it and based on the slides so that we can all understand. Okay. Now let's move on to this part. As I said, I just want to touch on the key things. I don't want to dwell much on them so that we can go fast. We actually wanted to start at 7, but because the light went off. Okay. Now, lecture 3 is also very, very important. That we will have several questions there. Because lecture 3 is about the concept, the models, and also the methods of social welfare provision. And this part, there are several questions that will come from this part. So let's make sure we also dwell on it. Please, if you just join the session, kindly make sure you like the session for us and you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly do so for us. Okay. Now let's zoom into the let me go to the models. Yes, I think the model is very, very important. The model is very, very important. Okay. Now, social welfare models. So please, social welfare has four main models. Okay. Social welfare has four main models. Now we have the residual model, we have the neo-conservative model, we have the institutional model, and the developmental model. There are four main models of social welfare. Now I'm going to explain all these models to you. Okay. Now, you see, as I said, we have four main models, but then even though they are four, they can be equally classified into two main models. I'll show you why I'm telling you, even though they are four, but can be classified into two. The models are four, but we can reclassify them into two main models. Now, the first model is the residual model. Residual model. Okay, residual model. Now, when we say a model is residual, it means that it's usually when it's about programs that are put in place to make sure that human needs are being met. So you see, humans, we have unmet needs. So when we have policies in place to make sure that our needs are being met, then that warfare is called residual warfare. Now, with residual warfare, it has several features. Okay. Now, the first feature of the residual model is that the residual model is deemed as a privilege. The residual model is deemed as a privilege. So that is the first one. And when we say something is deemed as a privilege, it means that not everyone qualifies for it. So with the residual model is deemed as a privilege. And anything that is deemed as a privilege, it means that not everybody qualifies for it. Okay, so it means there are some eligibility criteria that are put in place for someone to benefit from it. It means that it's a privilege. So when you are fortunate to have it, you are privileged to have it. So that is what the first feature of a residual model. It is what? It is deemed as a privilege. Now, when we say something is deemed as a privilege, it means that that thing is temporal in nature. So residual model is what? Is a type of welfare that is temporal in nature. That is the residual model. So one, it is deemed as a privilege. Two, it is temporal in nature. And three, it is what? It comes with stigma. So anything that is deemed as a privilege comes with a stigma. Now let me give you an example. So let's say you have a friend and you were very rich. When I say you were very rich, I mean the opposite. Maybe you were in need and this friend helped you out with, let's say, money. Now you are privileged to have that money. Are you okay? That's residual. Now you see, if we say that residual comes with a stigma, you see, this same friend, a time will come that you might have an issue. And this friend will know that now you, Crampon, if I hadn't helped you this day, you wouldn't have even gotten food to eat. That's a stigma. So when we say something is residual, that thing comes with a stigma. Please, do we understand? So with the residual model, one, it is deemed as a privilege. Two, it is temporal in nature. Three, it is deemed as a what? What? It comes with a stigma. And four, it is selective in nature. It is selective in nature. Are you okay? So these are the features of residual what model? The residual model. Okay. Now, the second model is the institutional model. Institutional model. The institutional model is the second model. When we say something is institutional, it's just the opposite of the residual. Okay, so institutional means that that thing is universal in nature. So it means everyone benefits. It's something that everyone benefits. For instance, the National Health Insurance Scheme is what? It's an institutional program that everyone benefits, regardless of your status. We all benefit from it. So that's what institutional. So when we say something is institutional, it means one, that thing is universal in nature. Then two, that thing is deemed as a right. It's a right. So anything that is institutional is deemed as a right. Please, do you understand? Then three, it is permanent. It's not temporary. It is permanent. Okay. Then four, it comes with no stigma. Now, whether you are rich or you are poor, if you have your NHIS card and you go to the hospital, we don't classify you to be, let's say, hey, this person there every day the person comes. No. So with institutional model, it is what? It is universal in nature. One, two, it's what? It is deemed as a right. 3, it comes with no stigma. And 4, it is permanent. So you see, the institutional is just the opposite of the residual. Please, do we understand? Are we getting what I'm trying to explain? Now, the third model is what? Is the neo-conservative model. Neo-conservative model. And with this model, we are saying that the neo-conservative model is similar, or it agrees with the what? With the residualist, or it agrees with the residual model. So it simply means that the neo-conservative model is the same as the residual model. Are you okay? The neo-conservative model is the same as the residual model. Why? Because it agrees with the residualist, meaning that they are all the same. Meaning that the neo-conservative is one, is also deemed as it comes with stigma. 2, it's selective in nature. 3, it's deemed as a privilege. And 4, it's what? It is not universal, it's selective in nature. Are you okay? And it's also temporary in what? In nature. So the neo-conservative agrees with the residualist, meaning that they go hand in hand. Now, the last one is the developmental model. So the developmental model also agrees with the institutional what? Model. So it means that, as I said, although the models are 4, residual, institutional, neo-conservative, and developmental, but then they can be further classified into 2. Why? Because residual is the same as the neo-conservative, and the institutional is the same as the developmental. So even though we have 4 main models, one agrees with the other. So as the neo-conservative agrees with the residualist, the institutional also agrees with what? With the developmental. So meaning that even though we have 4 models, we can reclassify them into what? 2 main models. Please, do we understand? So these are the models of social welfare provision. Now let's move on to the social welfare delivery methods, the methods. So we have 2 main methods of social welfare delivery. What? Delivery. 2 main methods. So the first method is what? Is universality. Universality. And the second one is what? Selectivity. Now, when we say something is universal, it means that that thing is deemed as a right. So anything that's deemed as a right is universal in nature. Are you okay? Now let me give you policy examples or programs that are universal in nature. So we can have the free senior high school. So free senior high school is universality. Are you okay? Because it is deemed as a right. We can have the NHIS, that's National Health Insurance Scheme. Are you okay? It's also universality because it's deemed as a right. Are you okay? Now the second welfare method is selectivity. So selectivity. So we have 2. We have universality and selectivity. So when we say something is selective, it means that that thing comes with what? With a criteria that you have to meet that criteria before you qualify for that welfare. Now, a typical example here is what? Is the free school feeding program. So with the free school feeding program, not every government school benefits from that what program, because in the policy document they stated that that program is for deprived community. So it means that if you are not a deprived community, you don't qualify for what? To benefit from the free school feeding program. Okay, so that is what? Selectivity, meaning that we have some eligibility criteria that one must meet before qualifying for the free school feeding program. Okay, now you see, we have 2 main what? Methods, universality and selectivity. We can also classify the models under the methods. Now, we can say that the institutional model and the developmental model can be classified under universality, whilst the residual model and the neo-conservative model can also be classified under what? Selectivity. Please, do we understand? Are we getting what I'm trying to say? All right. So please, if you just join, kindly like the session for us, and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe the channel for us. Okay. Please, are we getting my explanations? We have 2 main methods. We have universality and selectivity. I've already explained the models to you, and I'm saying that we can group the models under the methods. Are you okay? Now we can say that institutional model and developmental model can be grouped under universality. Why? Because universality means that the thing is deemed as a right. The thing is what? It's universal in nature. Everybody qualifies for it because it's a right. Are you okay? Now, when we say the residual model and also the neo-conservative, it can also be classified under the method of selectivity, because Selectivity means that the thing comes with what? Eligibility criteria. You have to meet a certain criteria before you qualify for it. That's what selectivity. Now we can group the two models of residual and neo-conservative under selectivity. Okay. Now this is what I actually want you to understand. Okay. This is how we are fine. Are we fine? Okay. Now I think this is also one thing that we have to do under lecture 3. As I said, I want to just go on. I don't want to waste my time. So the one I think is very, very important, I just give some small explanations on them, then we move on. Now let's go to lecture 4. Okay, lecture 4. Okay. You see right now we are at lecture 4. You two say a loop plane. Say a that thing that they used to play that go aviator. Aviator. So we are flying like aviator, Charlie. It's late, that's why don't worry. But we will still understand something, don't worry. Okay. Okay. Now the letter 4 is about social development. Social development. Okay. Now we have definitions of social development. And as I told you, there will be a session in your exams where we have definitions and the authors. Definitions and authors. So make sure you note the definition in the slides and who actually proponent those definitions. Okay, because it will come. That one you cannot skip it. It will come. Okay. Now, according to Midley 2013, social development is a process of what? It's a planting process. This one I'm not going to say everything, but I'm trying to tell you that the someone is saying lecture 3. If we've just finished lecture 3, that was about the models and the methods. That was lecture 3. Okay. Now we're on lecture 4. Okay, that's social development. Okay. Now, social development, as I said, you have to know the definitions, who define them, and the rest. Are you okay? So you just better have to know. Now we have key characteristics of social development. Now we are saying that social development is a process. Social development is a process. Now, when we say something is a process, it means that that thing is not of a short term. That thing is continuous. If we say social development is a process, it means that it's continuous. It's not something that is static or stagnant. It keeps on what? Going. Are you okay? It means it's a process. So it keeps on going. It's continuous in nature. So that is what social development being a process. Now, if we say it's progressive, it means that there's a steady improvement. So day by day, there's what? Progression. Day by day, there's what? An increment. Day by day, there's a change. It means it's progressive in nature. Are you okay? Now, the last one is what? Is multifaceted. So please, when we say something is multifaceted, it means that that thing comes with several dimensions. Are you okay? Now, let's say you want to do Gary Sawkins. Okay. So Gary Sawkins is multifaceted. Why? Because you have to come with your Gary, your sugar, your water, your granules, and even maybe your milk. So you see, there are 5 different things. So when they are put together, they are called multifaceted. So when we say social development is multifaceted, it means that it comprises of social, political, economic, environmental, and so on and so forth. Are you okay? That is what multifaceted. It means it combines several dimensions to make sure that there is development. That is social what? Development being multifaceted, bringing several dimensions together to make sure that development actually takes place. Are you okay? Now, okay, please, I'll go there very soon. Okay, don't worry, I'll be there very soon. All right. All right. So I think that part is very important. So make sure you do that. And now we have Agenda 2030. You see in the slides we have 5 P's. 5 P's. We have people, we have planet, prosperity, peace, and also partnership. Are you okay? And you see these 5 P's was about the Sustainable Development Goals. Now there was a UN summit that took place. So please that aspect to make sure because it might come in the matching. The 5 P's might come in the matching. And let me explain them briefly. I hope when we say people, people. It simply means that you see we have Agenda 2030 5 P's. And the Agenda 2030 was developed from the Sustainable Development Goals. Are you okay? So when they met, they developed 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And out of this, they came with some 5 P's. So we have people, we have planet, we have prosperity, we have peace and partnership. 5 P's. Now, the first P is people. When we say people, what are we trying to say? It means that people should be at the heart of development, or at the center of development should be people, because if there's development, who benefits from it? It's people. So it means that people are at the center of development. So whenever there's development, who benefits? That's people. So that's the P. The first P, that's people. Now the second one is planet. Planet means that development does not take place in vacuum. It takes place in what? In certain place, and that's the earth. So it means that when we want to make development, it should take place on the earth, and we must protect the environment, because if you want to develop a country or a community, and now you want to do galamsey there, that you will do galamsey, and you that galamsey wanting to develop that same community, it doesn't make sense, because you end up destroying the environment. Are you okay? So we must make sure that the planet is safe. When where is the planet? That's the earth. Are you okay? So development actually does not take place in a space, but rather on the earth. So that's the P. That's the second P. That's planet. Now the third one is what? Prosperity. So when we say prosperity, we are talking about economic growth. Okay. So the things that we can put in place to make sure that there's an economic growth. So that's prosperity. So when we are opening jobs, creating employment opportunities so that people will actually get the money or get the work to what? To go on and let's say become prosperous. Are you okay? So that is the third P, that's prosperity. Now the fourth P is peace. Peace. Because if there's development and there's no peace, then that development does not make sense. Are you okay? And that's not continuity. Because with continuity, development must make sense to the people. So when there's development and there's no peace, then it means it's cost 90. And the peace here means that people should live their life free of what? Coercion and what? War. Or what? So coercion and war. So it means there must be measures in place to protect the individual. Because if there's development without peace, then that's cost 90. Are you okay? So that is the P. That's the fourth P. That's peace. So peace means that individuals should live their life free of fear and coercion. Are you okay? Now the last one is partnership. Partnership. So partner is basically about trying to join alliance with some people. Please, we have not reached there. You've reached there, okay? So that is actually lecture 4. Okay, you've actually reached there, because you the lecture 5 is even about the absolute poverty and the relative poverty, and that's where we are even about to go. So the agenda 2030, the 5 P's, you've actually reached there. Okay, all right, all right. So someone is saying, what about the Maslow hierarchy of needs? This is how that one day you know the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Are you okay? You know the needs. Or that one you want us to go into it. This one, I hope you know the pyramid. You see, the last one, we have the apex, that's self-actualization. Okay, so we have esteem needs, we have love and what belongingness and the rest. Okay, safety needs, they are all there. This one, I think you can just know it, because they are not, even though it's very, very important. Okay, so let's move on to the most important thing. Okay, even though I'm not saying it's not important, it's very, very important, but then let's keep that. All right. So I think that will do for lecture 4. As I said, lecture 4 talks about social development. But in that place, as I said, they will bring a session where there will be definitions and authors. And I'm very positive that at that, with the social development, we have about 4 key definitions there. And I'm very confident that she can bring 3 definitions from social development and tell you who defined them. So you are just matching the definition to the authors. Okay. So make sure you take note on that one too. Very, very important. Okay, now let's go to lecture 5. I think that one is very, very important. Yes. And it's actually my favorite slide on all. And please, this one too, you will get plenty question on that. That is measurement of poverty. Measurement of poverty. You will get several questions there. Okay. Yes. Now let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. All right. Now we know what poverty is. Are you okay? So poverty is a state or any condition that creates. Yeah, you didn't finish partnership. Okay, I said that with partnership, is when you are trying to create alliance with people. Are you okay? So when you are trying to join hands, like it's more like collaboration. Okay. So when you are collaborating with, let's say, the local authorities, with the state agencies, to make sure that you actually bring development in your community, that's partnership. Are you okay? Are you okay? Please don't worry. You see, God willing, after the exams, you laugh. Okay. I'm very positive on that. You laugh. Don't worry. Okay. So when we say poverty, I said poverty is a condition. Okay. So it's any state or condition that actually undermines the living standard of individuals. Okay. So any condition that serves as a barrier to the well-being and the welfare of individuals can be termed as poverty. Okay. So poverty is actually a condition. Don't forget, a condition that um, creates boundaries, creates obstacles for individuals and communities for reaching their full potential. That is what a poverty. All right. Now, poverty means several things. Poverty means lack of what? Basic needs. That's poverty. Poverty means lack of basic needs. Poverty can actually also means when someone is powerless. So when someone is powerless, that is also actually what? Poverty. So poverty can actually means exclusion. So when you are being excluded in several things in decision making, it can also mean what? Poverty. Poverty means when people are living what? When people cannot meet their basic needs, that's also poverty. Or poverty can also actually means when people are having low standard of living. So with poverty, we can have several definition of what? Of poverty. Are you okay? Now let's move on. Okay. Now this place, a question, there will be a question on this place. That is what? The characteristics of the poor. All right. Now this place, so please, there will be a question there. Okay. Now poverty entails several things, and we have characteristics of the poor. So what will actually determine, or what will be some of the things that will make someone a poor person? So that is what the characteristics of the poor. Now the first characteristic of the poor is what? Is material deprivation. Material deprivation. So when we say material deprivation, it's when someone lacks income. So when you lack income, when you lack resources and assets, it means you are being deprived of what? Of materials. So material deprivation means when someone lacks basic what? Assets and income. Okay. Now I brought examples here, since in the exam they will not bring the definition, they will bring examples for us to match on it. Okay. Now with material deprivation, for instance, when someone lacks basic needs like clothing, okay, when someone lacks basic needs like clothing, like infrastructure, are you okay? When someone lacks essential goods like electricity, okay, and also housing. When you don't have housing, you are on the street because you don't have a place to sleep. That is material deprivation. Okay, when someone lacks housing, the person is sleeping on the street, that is material deprivation. When someone lacks basic what? Essential goods, like let's say furnitures in a place, because at least if you get your room, you should have a chair to sit on it, a bed to sleep on it, you should have, let's say, a fridge. So if someone lacks basic things like this, that is what? Material deprivation. It can also actually means what? Lack of services. So when someone lacks, or when a community or a household lacks access to what? Clean and potable drinking water, is also material deprivation. And also when someone lacks, or a community lacks, let's say water, are you okay? And also proper sanitation. When people or a community lacks clean access to water, electricity, and also sanitation, that is what? Material deprivation. Please, I hope you are getting examples. So all these examples falls under material deprivation. So when God willing tomorrow, if you get all these examples, when all these examples comes, then you know that they are talking about what? Material deprivation. Now the second feature of the poor, or characteristic of the poor, is what? Is physical weakness. Physical weakness. So when we say physical weakness, we are talking about what? Malnutrition. Malnutrition. So when someone is malnourished, okay, and also when someone is disabled, so disabled is also under physical weakness, and also lack of strength. So when someone lacks strength, is also classified under physical weakness. Now, I had some example here. So, for instance, when someone is skipping meals, are you okay, to survive? When an individual is skipping meals to survive, so you see, actually, in a very good day, you should have breakfast, supper, are you okay, and also lunch. So 3 square meals. But then, due to some poverty, people are skipping breakfast, lunch, and now they are eating only in the evening. Okay, so when they do that, you see, they become malnourished, and that's physical weakness. Because how we are getting an example. Now, another example is one when someone is underweight. Underweight. So we have a child, and the child is chronically underweight. That is also what classified under physical weakness. Are you okay? Now, when we also have health issues and also illness. So when there's a chronic illness and health issues, it also can lead to what? Physical weakness. And finally, when someone is physically handicapped, are you okay? Maybe due to accidents, your hand is amputated, your leg is amputated, now you cannot go and come. It's what? Physical weakness. So all these examples is classified under the second characteristic of the poor. That is what? Physical weakness. Now the third one is isolation. Isolation. When we say isolation, isolation simply means when someone lacks access to education or resources. So when someone lacks access to education or resources, that's what? Isolation. Now, let me give an example of isolation. So isolation can be one, can be in the form of geography. So geography can make someone become what? Isolated. Geography. So when someone lives in a rural area or a remote area, now that person is what? Is isolated due to geography. Please, do you understand? Now, when someone is living in a remote area where there's no access to roads, and also when the road network is very, very bad, now due to geography, they are being located in a very remote area where someone cannot even go there. Okay, so that's what? Isolation. Please, do you understand? Now, another example is what? Lack of social networks. When we use social networks, when someone doesn't not have friends to socialize with. And isolation is when someone does not have a social network. You have a bad social network. You don't have friends to what? Yes, Francisca, is very true. We are all quote and unquote. So when someone has when someone lacks social network, that's what? That's also isolation. Now, when someone lacks social network, now it leads to what? Loneliness, because you don't have people to, you don't have friends, or you don't have a group to mingle with, and that can create loneliness. And loneliness is what? Is isolation. Now, the third example is what? Lack of information. So lack of information can actually also create isolation. So when there is lack of information and also lack of education, it can actually create what? Isolation. So for instance, due to where someone is living, now they don't even have access to news. So for them, they don't even listen to news because they don't have network. Are you okay? And now they don't have education. They are living in a remote area. They don't have social network. Are you okay? These are all examples under isolation. Are you okay? Now that is the third characteristics of the poor, isolation. Now the fourth one is what? Is vulnerability. Vulnerability. So when we say vulnerability, is when, so vulnerability is actually contingencies that actually increase poverty. So when we say contingency, it's like something that you have not planned for. So vulnerabilities are contingencies that actually increase people to become poor. So that's what vulnerability. And when we say contingencies, they are actually something that you did not plan for. You are there and the thing just happened. That's what contingencies. So I wrote something here. So they are constant rates of what? Falling deeper into poverty. So vulnerability are constant rates that make people fall deeper into what? Into poverty. Now, example is what? Is natural disasters. You are there, you didn't even plan on flooding or drought, and now drought came. Maybe you have a very large farm. Now, due to these contingencies that you did not plan for, your farm, the crops are all dead. Now there's fire outbreak and everything is dead, everything is gone. What is gone? That is what? Contingencies. Are you okay? Now you are there and there's a natural disaster, there's a flooding, You are there and you were sleeping, you are fast asleep, and it rained, you didn't hear, and it flooded, it entered your room, and you were on your bed, and now the flood has carried you and your bed, and you are on top of water, and you are floating. That is what contingencies. Now, because because of that flooding, you see, if because it entered your room, it can put you into deeper poverty because everything is spoiled. Okay, that is contingencies. So natural disasters is an example of what vulnerability. Why? Because it can actually put people into deeper poverty. Now, another example is what? It's health emergencies. Health emergencies. Now, let's say a sudden illness of a family member. Are you okay? Now you are there. Let's say you are in school. You didn't even plan on anything, and now they call you at home that your auntie has been admitted. You see, and now due to that illness, when they diagnose, they realize that with this one, they need a huge sum of money before they can do the surgery. Are you okay? It's a contingency. You didn't plan on it. And now that's what an emergency. Are you okay? So health emergencies is also what an example and a vulnerability because you didn't plan. You were at work and they called you. Your daughter has fallen from the first floor and now the arm is broken and now your daughter is has gone what unconscious and is on, let's say, CPU. Now you will need a huge sum of money to address this issue and you didn't plan for it. Are you okay? So when we say vulnerability, we are saying that there are contingencies that put people into deeper poverty. And when we say contingency, there are things that you did not plan for. And I've given you one example. Natural disasters are contingencies. Drought, flooding, fire outbreak, they are all what? Contingencies. Now, the second example I'm talking about is what? It's health emergencies. You didn't plan on anything. You were there, they call you, your daughter has fallen down, and now is in coma. And you need a whole huge sum of money to do that. And you don't have money. So you have to go and borrow. You see, sometimes people can and borrow, and when they borrow, now that's all. That's the end of their life. Now they will be drawn into poverty because the amount was so huge that they had no money to recover. Please, do you understand? That is what vulnerability. So they are constant risk of putting people into deeper poverty. Okay. Now the third example I gave here is what economic shift. You were there, you didn't plan on anything, and now you went to work and they said that you have been laid off. You didn't plan on it, and now you've been sacked from what? From work. So that is what also a contingency because you didn't plan on it. So when someone is laid off from work, it's also what? A contingency. And that's also under vulnerability because now you are the breadwinner of your family, and now they've laid you off from work. Are you okay? So it means that now you become poor, and these are conditions that you did not plan on it, and it has actually happened. So that's what that is a contingency. Are you okay? Yes. Please, I hope we are getting examples. So you see, these are the examples that will come in the exam. These are examples. So they will not actually define it in the exam, but it will come in the form of what? Examples as I'm giving you. Please, I hope you're actually getting the examples I'm giving you, right? All right. Now the last one I'll talk about is what? Is powerlessness. Powerlessness. That's the last characteristic of the poor. So when we say powerlessness is what? Is inability to avoid poverty or change a situation. So when there's a situation, but then you are unable to change that situation, it means you are powerless. You are powerless because you have nothing to do to change that situation. Now you are really drawn into poverty, but then you have nothing you can do to actually save yourself. It means you are powerless. Okay. Now, when we say powerlessness, I wrote something small here. So, with powerlessness is what? Is lack of influence or the ability to make your own choices. So, lack of influence. So, lack of influence or the ability to make your own choices or to defend one's interest. So, when one lack influence or one is not able to make their own choices or to defend their own life or their own self, it means they are powerless. Okay, it means you are powerless. Now let me give you an example under it. So with powerlessness, I gave about two examples. So the first example I gave is what? It's exploitation. Exploitation. Now, let's say when you are being forced to do something or pay something that you think is unfair. Now, let's say there's this pen. You know pretty well that this pen is, let's say, 1 Ghana cedi. Now you go to a certain place and they are selling this one for 10 Ghana cedis. And that is what? That is exploitation. So when someone is being exploited and the person can actually does not can actually not do anything, the person become what? Powerless. Are you okay? Now, when you are being forced to do something, when you are being forced to pay something that you think is unfair, at that moment you become what? Powerless. Are you okay? Now, another example I gave is what? Is voice. So when you have no voice, you become powerless. Okay, when you have no voice, you become powerless. When the society does not see you, when you are invisible among your friends, you are powerless. Okay, you actually know that, hey, this this discussion, I actually know something that I can actually say. That's very, very important. But then your friends see you invisible. Okay, you are not to them. In that sense, you've lost your voice. Okay, so lack of voice is also classified under what? Powerlessness. When you actually ignored by policy planners. Okay, when they are planning something at home, when your parents are planning something and they ignore you, meaning, but meanwhile, you can actually contribute something to them. At that moment, you've lost your voice, and lack of voice means you are powerless. Are you okay? Lack of voice means you are powerless. So that is powerlessness. Are you okay? So with powerlessness is when someone lack influence or when someone is not able to defend their own interest. That is what powerlessness. So lack of voice means you are powerless. Please, are you good? All right. So I think that's the smallest thing I wrote here. All right. Now let's move on to measurement of poverty. Okay, measurement of poverty. All right. Now we have narrow measurement of poverty. We have narrow measurement of poverty. Okay, so I think I've seen it at the chat box. That's where we've gotten to. Okay, I'll explain for you to understand. Don't worry. Okay, so with the narrow measurement of poverty, he said that measurements are based on what? Income and consumption. So when we are measuring poverty using the narrow what? Measurement. So the narrow measurement of poverty measures poverty by using income and what? Consumption. And when we say income, what are income? So income is what? It refers to the amount of money someone makes. So the amount of money someone makes is what? Is an income. But then when we say consumption, consumption is what? Is the monetary value of the things we consume. So the monetary value of the things we consume is what? Consumption. So let's say this pen. Okay, so this pen, I'm actually consuming the pen because I am using it to write, so I'm consuming it. So the monetary value of this pen is what? Is consumption. So if this pen is costed, let's say 5 Ghana cedi, that's what? That's the consumption. So the monetary value of the things we consume is consumption. Please, are you okay? So with a narrow measurement of poverty, it actually measures poverty by what? Focusing on income and consumption. That's a narrow measurement of poverty. And under the same narrow measurement of poverty, it comes with two main statistical definitions. Okay, so the narrow measurement of poverty has two main statistical definitions. So the first one is what? Is absolute poverty. Absolute poverty. And the second one is what? Is relative poverty. Now I'm going to give the dichotomy or the difference or the distinction between these two statistical definitions of poverty. Now let's take the first one, absolute poverty. So when we say absolute poverty, it refers to a condition that one is not able to meet a certain minimum requirement. Are you okay? So when someone is not able to meet a minimum requirement, that person is classified to be absolutely what? Poor. So when someone is absolutely poor, it means that person is not able to meet a minimum requirement. So with absolute poverty, it deals with what? Poverty line. So whenever you hear poverty line, we are talking about what? Absolute poverty. So now the government says that, okay, if you are not able to make 50 Ghana cedis a day, then it means you are a poor person. So it means anybody who is not able to meet that criteria, that standard, that person is poor. That is what? Absolute poverty. So when someone is not able to meet the minimum requirement, that is what? Absolute poverty. And it deals with two things. One, the poverty line, and two, food basket. And when we say food basket, what are food basket? Food basket simply means basic needs. Are you okay? That's food basket. So when we say food basket, it's what? It's basic needs. So we can talk of, let's say, clothing, shelter, food, water, housing. These are all classified to what? Food basket. So when you hear food basket, it's what? It's basic needs. Please, are you good? Are you good? So absolute poverty deals with two things. One, the poverty line. Are you okay? So there should be a minimum requirement. So if your income falls below the minimum requirement, then it means you are absolutely poor. That is absolute what? Measurement of poverty. Please, are you good? All right. Now, the second um, definition has to do with what? Relative poverty. Relative poverty. And with relative poverty, it defines poverty in relation to what? Economic status. Okay. Relative poverty defines poverty in relation to what? Economic status. So when we are looking at ranking the population. So with relative poverty, when we are actually it measured poverty by ranking the entire population. So when the entire population are being ranked according to those who are rich, those who are poor, are you okay? Those who are even below the standard, it means we are dealing with what? Relative poverty. So with relative poverty, it measures poverty by ranking the entire population per capita income. So it means that, oh, okay, if you don't have, let's say, 5 cars, it means you are poor. If you don't have this, it means you are poor. So when we are measuring poverty by ranking, by looking at our economic status, by ranking the entire population, is what? Relative poverty. So as absolute deals with what? Poverty line and food basket, the relative poverty deals with what? Ranking the entire population per capita income. Please, are you good? Please, are you fine? The person who just asked, are you good now? Please, are you good? The person who just asked, are you fine? Please kindly comment for me to know if you are fine. Okay. Kindly comment for me to know if you are fine. Okay. Now you see what we just did. Someone said the relative one. Okay. Please, I'm saying that with relative poverty, it measures poverty by looking at what? One, economic status. So when we are measuring poverty by looking at economic status, we are talking about relative poverty. That is one. Two, when we are measuring poverty by ranking the entire population, it's also what? Relative poverty. Okay. And all these are under the narrow definition of poverty. All these two are under the narrow definition of poverty. Now we are moving on to the broad definition of poverty. Please, are you get what I'm trying to say? We are moving on to the broad definition of poverty. Okay. Now, with the broad definition of poverty, it argues that we can't we can't use we can't use only income to say someone is poor. Are you okay? So with the broad definition, it actually says that one dimension cannot be used to determine the poorness of someone. We can't actually say that because your income falls below this amount, it means you are poor. So that is the argument of the narrow or the broad definition of poverty. So with the broad definition of poverty, the argument is that income alone cannot be used as a determinant of being poor. Are you okay? Now, with the broad definition, one key thing is what? Is the multi-dimensions of poverty. So the multi-dimensional approach to poverty is under the broad definition. Okay. Now, with the broad definition, it looks at when maybe someone lacks poor health. So when there's a lack of poor health, poor education, poor housing, when someone is not empowered, when someone is facing threats, it means that that person is poor. So with the multi-dimension of poverty, it actually says that we cannot look at one dimension to say someone is poor. But then when we look at the entirety of the one's living condition, now we can actually say the person is poor. So when the person has poor health, poor education, inadequate living standard, when there's disempowerment, when there's poor quality of life, now we can say that the person is poor. Please, do you understand the multi-dimension of poverty? That's under the broad definition of poverty. Please, are we getting it? Please, are you getting it? Okay. So I think that will actually be that for that aspect as well. Yes. And I think we are fine. Yes, we should be fine because I think I've done my best. Let me put it that way. I've done my best. All right. Please, I should come again on which one? I'm saying that with a broad definition of poverty, the absolute poverty and relative poverty, they are all under the narrow definition of poverty. Are you okay? Now, with the broad definition of poverty, that is where we are looking at what? The multi-dimensional what? Definition of poverty. Now, they have arguments. Are you okay? And I'm sure that the argument that the broad definition of poverty is trying to make is that we can't look at income alone to say that someone is poor. So that is why they introduce the multi-dimensional aspect of poverty, that we can say someone is poor when the person has poor health, poor education, low standard of living, poor quality of life, poor housing. So when we are able to look at all these multi-dimensions about the individual, now we can say the person is poor. But we cannot look at only the income of someone and say the person is poor. But then when we look at the living standard of the person, when the person has poor education, poor healthcare, okay, poor living standard, poor quality of life, then we can say the person is poor. So with the multidimensional, it actually combines a whole lot of things together to actually say that now, based on all these 5 or 7 factors, now the person is poor. Please, are you fine? The person who asked, please, are you fine now? The person who asked, please, are you fine now? The person who asked, please, are you fine now? Please, the person who asked, are you fine now? Please, with the motor, is it caused by environment? No. Okay, no. I'm actually trying to say that with a multidimensional approach, you see, with a multidimension of poverty, it does not look at one dimension to say someone is poor. Are you okay? So for the multidimension of poverty, it's actually before it can say someone is poor, it look like it look at a several range of indicators. It doesn't look at one aspect to say someone is poor. Okay, for it look like, or it look at some complexity of some indicators to actually come together to say indeed someone is poor. So it doesn't look at only income, but rather it look like, let's say, it look like at, let's say, when someone has a poor health condition, when someone has poor education, poor living standard, poor wealth condition, when someone is going through threats. Now you see, these are all several indicators. Now, if the person is one person is going through all these indicators, then it means the person is poor. That is the multi-dimension of poverty. So with multi-dimension, it looks at a whole range of indicators to finally confirm that this person is poor. Please, are you good now? Okay, that's great. It's good that you are fine. Okay. Now I think we are going through the last slide. Yes. So poverty line, okay, poverty line, food basket, absolute poverty, and relative poverty, they are all under the narrow definition of poverty. They are all under the narrow definition of poverty. But then when you come to the multi-dimension of poverty, it's under the broad definition of poverty. Get the two. Are you fine? All right. Okay. So please, I think we are going to the last slide. Then from there we move on to our questions. Okay, our sample questions. So the last slide is also very, very important. Of which question will come from that slide. So that is addressing poverty in Ghana. Addressing poverty in Ghana. So what are some of the things that we can use to reduce poverty? Okay, so that's poverty reduction. Okay. Now here we have several things here that are very, very important. So the first one is actually some terminologies, okay? And these terminologies, it will actually will come. Because that one day it will come. So we have some terminologies under poverty reduction or under some of the measures put in place to reduce poverty in Ghana. Are you okay? So now the first terminology is poverty reduction. Poverty reduction. So poverty reduction is the first terminology. So when we say poverty reduction, what are we trying to say? So poverty reduction is actually refers to some strategies and policies that are put in place to reduce a number or percentage of people living in poverty. So when measures are put in place, are you okay? When measures or when strategies and policies are being put in place to reduce, listen, to reduce the number and the percentage of people living in poverty, that is what poverty reduction. When measures, strategies, and policies are being put in place to reduce the number, that's the most important thing. Okay, the number and the percentage of people living in poverty, that is what poverty reduction. That is poverty reduction. Now I gave example here. Now what strategies can we put in place to reduce the number and also the percentage of people living in poverty? Now for instance, you see, way back 10 years ago, the illiteracy rate in Ghana was very, very high. 10 years ago, the illiteracy rate in Ghana was very, very high. Now, government came with what? Free senior high school as a strategy to provide free education to the people to improve what? Literacy rate. So that is what? Poverty reduction. Please, are you good with example? Are you fine? Are you fine? So when we say poverty reduction, there are strategies, policies, and measures put in place to reduce the number and percentage of people living in poverty. And I'm saying that 10 years ago, the number of people who were illiterate in Ghana was very high. Now, government brought the initiative of what? Free senior high school. And this initiative, that's education, has come to reduce the number of people who are illiterate in the country. That is what? Poverty reduction. These are very good. Great. Now, another example I also brought was job creation. Now, years back, the unemployment rate was very, very high. Now, they brought the nation builders course. Are you okay? They also brought several things like community police and other things. These are all initiatives to come create employment. Are you okay? Now, they also brought one district, one factory. So these are all initiatives that the government came or brought to create employment to reduce what? Unemployment rate in the country. So this is what? Poverty reduction. These are very good. Are very good. All right. Now, these are two examples I jotted down to help you understand poverty reduction. Are you fine, please? Are you fine? Please respond to me so I will know you are fine. I can proceed. Please, are you fine? All right. I think I've seen yes, so I can proceed. Okay. Now the second term. So now I think now we all understand what we call poverty reduction. Now the second terminology is poverty relief. Poverty relief. So when we say poverty relief, it's a short-term assistance. Just put that at the back of your mind. Poverty relief is a short-term assistance to the poor. So when we are providing a short-term assistance to people who are living in poverty or people who are experiencing something, it's what? Poverty relief. Okay. Now, when interventions are put in place to provide a short-term assistance to those who are living in poverty or those who are having living in a problem, it is called what? Poverty relief. A short-term assistance to those who are living in poverty, or to those who are experiencing what? Something, a problem. That is what? Poverty relief. Now, example I gave here is what? Is emergency aid. So when government provide emergency aid to people who are experiencing flood, okay, so let's say there's flooding in Accra, and now NADMO goes there. So when NADMO people go there, and now they give mattress, they give food, okay, and also something small to people. Now it's what? It's poverty relief, because their rooms have been flooded. They don't have somewhere to what? To sleep. So when they are giving a small shelter to sleep in, that is not permanent. They are being there for a short period of time. That's what? Poverty relief. So when we provide emergency aid to people, it's what? Poverty relief, because it's short term. It's very good. So when there's a fire outbreak at a certain place, and the not more people goes there, and now everything is bent. Okay, now we want to hold you here at this hotel for 1 week. A short term poverty relief. Please, are you fine? Okay. Now, aside the emergency aid, as I said, when we provide food, shelter, water, and clothing to people who have experienced, let's say, natural disaster, that is what? Poverty relief, because it's short term. Now, another example I also brought was safety nets. With safety nets, when we are providing temporary assistance to people by providing, let's say, food stamps, okay, food stamps. You see, the war zone centers, places that are experiencing war. You see, the Red Cross, they will go there. They have some temporary shelters for them where they will be treating those who are wounded. That is what? Poverty relief, providing a short-term assistance to those who are experiencing what? Poverty. Please, are you fine? Are you fine? Now, another example I gave under poverty relief is also healthcare. Healthcare. So, for instance, when we are providing free or affordable healthcare during what? Disease outbreak. Now, you realize that when COVID-19 came, you see, there was a short assistance. When COVID came, the healthcare professionals were providing support, providing free vaccination and other things, and this was for a short time. Okay, when COVID came, now people, some nurses were fleeing from their countries to go to another country to go and help them. Now we have nurses from or doctors from US coming to another countries who are experiencing this COVID-19 to come and assist the doctors there. That is what? Poverty relief, providing a short-term health care, free or affordable, in the case of what? Disease outbreak. It's what? It's a short-term poverty relief. Is are you fine? Are you fine? This one that you have to understand, because I've really taken my time to let you guys understand. All right. Now, and one thing, as I said, because poverty relief is short term, it is temporary in nature. So it is temporary. Are you okay? Poverty relief is temporary. Now, the next terminology is poverty alleviation. Poverty alleviation. So when we say poverty alleviation, they are the things that the government put in place to what? To provide a permanent solution to what? To poverty. So when the government actually put in some policies and measures to provide a sustainable what? Solutions to the poor, that is what? Poverty alleviation. So you see, alleviation means you are dealing with the thing once and for all. That is what alleviation. And poverty alleviation is permanent in nature. So poverty relief is temporary, but then poverty alleviation is what? Is permanent. Why? Because it's sustainable. Okay. Now the example I gave here is what? Infrastructure. So when government build schools, when government build roads, when government build hospitals, it's what? Poverty alleviation, because it's a permanent structure that will help what? Increase the educational needs of people, that will help provide good quality healthcare for people. Okay, that is what? Poverty alleviation. So when measures are put in place to provide sustainable healthcare, to provide sustainable educational needs for people, is what? Poverty alleviation. So poverty what? Alleviation is permanent in nature. Please, are you fine? Are you fine? Are you fine? Yes. So another example I can give under poverty alleviation is also Social Security and National Insurance Trust. That is SNIT. You see, SNIT came to help move people or remove people from poverty, because as you are working, you are paying what? Your insurance. So when you retire, now they have what they will give you every month so that you will not be poor. So SNIT is an example of what? Poverty alleviation. Please are you fine? Poverty alleviation is permanent in nature. Now the last terminology is what? Poverty eradication. Poverty eradication. So when we say poverty eradication, they are government commitments in ending what? The existence of poverty. So when government becomes so committed to end poverty, it is called poverty eradication. So the government commitment to put an end, to put a stop to poverty is what? Poverty eradication. So how can the government end poverty? So when government becomes so committed to put a stop to poverty is what? Poverty eradication. You are eradicating the thing. You are putting a stop to the thing. Enough is enough. That's what? Poverty eradication. Please, are you fine? Are you fine? Now I gave some example here. So one example of poverty eradication is what? Is empowerment. Okay. So when the government empower the people that look, you have abilities, you can create your own jobs. You can create your own jobs and what? And become sustainable. You can create your own companies and become sustainable. Now you have abilities. You can solve your own problems. You have your own strength. Are you okay? And you are able, you can make your own decisions. You can solve your own problem. This empowerment. So if government puts this commitment by empowering the people, that's what? Poverty eradication. Now, people are coming to their senses that no, they can actually solve their own problems. So that's what? Poverty eradication. Please, are you fine? Are you fine? Are you fine? So when sustainable measures are put in place to help solve some issues, that is what? Poverty eradication. Please, are you good? Are you good? Yes. So under here we have Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy 1. Are you okay? So with the Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy 1, I think it's spanned from 2003 to 2005. Are you okay? I don't know whether you guys have heard HIPIC before. HIPIC. That's highly indebted poor country. Are you okay? So HIPIC was actually a policy. Okay. So it was a policy. I don't know if you realize, if you go to some government school, they have a brace building, and now they've written in front of it HIPIC benefits. So it was actually an initiative that was introduced to help give people or community that does not have infrastructure, that's school buildings, okay, to have school buildings. And that's what an initiative. So HIPIC was introduced for communities or countries that are highly indebted. It means they are like almost they can't be, they are owing, and now they can't even develop their country. So the HIPIC benefit came to provide free school infrastructures for what? For some countries. And now they write in front of it HIPIC benefits. Are you okay? So that is what? Ghana poverty reduction what? Strategy. So another Ghana poverty reduction strategy, that's 2003 to 2005, HIPIC came in to provide free school buildings for people, and giving school free school building means that you are helping people what? To become more educated, to become more literate, and that's a way of what? Moving people from poverty. Please, are you fine? This, do you guys actually understand my explanations? Are you okay with my explanations? Let me know if I'm okay. Okay. All right. So I think they are actually plenty. We have social protection flaws and so on and so forth. Okay. So I think I'll end here. I'll end here for this. And I think, okay, before I end, let me give something. You see, we have social welfare programs. Okay, we have social welfare policy and programs. So we have programs like, we have, you see, under health, we have several um, policies and programs under it. So you see, when we take healthcare, under healthcare, we have the National Health Insurance Scheme. That's the NHIS. So that's a policy program under health. Okay, we can also have free maternal health care. Are you okay? So these are all policies and programs to help better the life of people, to help give what? proper and quality healthcare to people. Now, under education, we have what? FQ. That's free, compulsory, universal basic education. It was a policy. Under the same education, currently, we have the free senior high school. Are you okay? Currently, school under education, we have the education capitation grant. It's also a policy or program under education. Under the same education, we also have a free school feeding program. So you see, these are all policies and programs that came together to help us alleviate people from poverty. Are you okay? All right. Now we have livelihoods. So under livelihood, we have what? The LEAP program. LEAP, the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty. So LEAP is also a program under livelihood, and it was brought to help alleviate people from poverty. And under the same livelihood, we have what? The labor intensive public work. It also there. Then we also have fertilizer subsidies. So when subsidies were given to that fertilizers, so that those who are doing their farming, they can actually purchase what? The fertilizers. Are you okay? So this also livelihood what? And programs. Now we have planting for food and jobs. So planting for food and jobs is also under livelihood. Okay. Now when we come to pension schemes, one example under pension scheme is what? Is SNIT. That's Social Security and National Insurance Trust. So SNIT is actually an example under pension scheme, because when someone goes to pension and they are on SNIT, every month they give them something to what? To actually cater for themselves. Are you okay? And SNIT is an example under pension scheme. Please, are you fine? Now we are done. So I'm going to turn the camera off me to my screen. Then we will just go into the questions. Please, are you fine? Please, can I turn the camera now? Can I turn the camera now to the screen? All right. So please, you can kindly like the session if you join, and please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel, because that is where we're having most of our tutorials. Okay, so kindly subscribe to the channel. All right. So I'm turning the camera to uh, my screen, my laptop screen. Okay. All right. Okay. So I had 8 answers, but then it's actually what I've explained. So if I read the question, even without going to the answers, you know that this is the answer because of the explanation I gave. Okay. All right. I'm turning the camera. Maybe more time. Okay. So I'm coming out to reduce it small. Okay. So please let me know if you can actually see the questions. Okay. So it's a tutorial practical questions. Okay. Can you all see the questions very well, please? I've zoomed it small so you can. Please, can you all see it well? Okay. Now there's a multiple choice part. Okay, so it says one says that according to the narrow definition used in the course, development is best described as what? So now, if we looking at the question, the possible answers, please, what do you think will be the answer? So according to the narrow definition used in the course, in this course, when we say development, what does it what describe? Okay, so you see, you can actually say that the answer is what is B, right? Because we all know is B. We all agree that it's B, right? Because development is actually what improving the quality of life and the well-being of individuals. So the answer is actually B. So you see, I brought the answer there. So that's B. You can see the B there. All right. I like it. We are all learning. We are all learning. I like it. Okay. Now let's see the question two. Even though you can see the answer, but then the most important thing is for us to understand. So he said Thomas 2000 identified three meaning of development. So you see, development as a vision, as a historical process, as an action. So you see, actually, D is not part of it, right? D is not part of it because we don't have development as economic growth. So the answer for the question two is what? Is D. Is D. Because with the three meaning of development is development as a vision, as a historical process, and also as what? As an action. There is no D part to it. Are you fine? Are you fine? Okay. Now let's go to question three. He said the neoliberal perspective on development argues that. Please, let's come with the answer for the question three. The neoliberal perspective on development argues that the neoliberal perspective on, okay, someone say, can I should hide the answers. Okay, maybe I can actually do that. I can actually do that. But as I said, I just want assault, but then I can actually do that. Okay, so please, what's the answer for the question three? Question three. Question three. You see, with the neoliberalists, they this was the answer for the question three. So the answer is C. It means you really listen to the explanation. So the answer is C. So we should have what? Free markets. We should have free markets. So when there's free markets, that's what a neoliberalist perspective. Wait, you guys are doing well. Now let's go to question four. He said, which perspective of development holds that the state is primarily responsible for development? So this question four, the answer is what? The answer is what? Question four. Question four. Question four. Question four. So, which perspective development holds that the state is primarily responsible for development? So that is what? That is very, very simple. So development is actually the responsibility of the state. That is what? That is structuralism. That is structuralism. Because according to structuralism, the onus lies on the government when it comes to development. So that's structuralism. Are you fine? That's B. Wait, you are doing well. You are doing well. All right. Now, let me hide this more. It came, but no worries. No worries. Okay. So question five says that developmental social work can also be referred to as what? Developmental social work can also be referred to as what? So that's what? Social development approach to social work practice. So that is B. That is B. That is B. All right. Now question number six. Question number six. Question number six. He said, according to Midley and Conley, developmental social work emerged as a new paradigm that seeks to do what? This one too, I think I highlight on it. Okay. So the answer for question six is what? Question six answer. The answer for that is what? Question six. So the six is what? Is B. Because according to Midley, the new paradigm came to infuse social developmental theory and practice into what? Into the social work process. So that is B. So six is also B. Yes. Now let's come to seven. Seven. Okay. So we said that social welfare etymologically derived from the warfare. I think this one, the answer is there. So faring well, that's a journey or arrival and what? Supply for food. So number seven to the answer is B, right? The answer is B. All right. Now we are yes, this is how we are looking at this very well. All right. Now question number eight. Which of the following is the most accurate contemporary conception of a social welfare? So number eight, what will be the answer for number eight? Number eight. So you see the contemporary definition, are you okay, of warfare. So contemporary conception of warfare is what? Contemporary. So the contemporary definition of warfare is what? So the answer is what? Is C, right? Is C. That's a broad system intended to maintain well-being of individuals within a society, including education, health, and housing. So number eight is C. Okay, is C. We are doing well. That's great. Now, according to Koblom and also Julian, they define warfare as what? You see, this one is someone's definition. So if we don't know the definition, we can't actually know how they define the warfare to be. Are you okay? So according to them, They what? They define welfare as a nation system of programs and services that help people to meet social, economic, educational, and what? Health needs. Are you okay? So that's actually what? That's actually B. It's actually B. All right. Now, number 10, the residual model of social welfare provision is characterized by which of the following? So residual is characterized by what? This number 10. What is the answer for the residual? This one, I think you have to say it. You have to say, you have to be able to know this one. Residual. You see, with the you see when I explain the you see you have seen stigma there. So stigma means residual stigma. Okay, I explained that with the residual one, it is temporary in nature. Two, it comes with stigma. Three, it is not universal. Are you okay? And it is deemed as a privilege. So when it's stigma, it means it's C. Please, are you fine? Are you good with that? Okay. All right. Now, number 11, under the institutional model of social welfare services. So, so under the institutional model, social welfare services are viewed as what? This one that you have to be able to do. Please, number 11, the answer is what? With the man who are, if you don't get this one wrong, this one right. Sorry, if you don't get this one right, I'll come and beat everybody because this one I really explain. So what's the answer for question number 11? The institutional model. Okay, so that's what a legitimate universal entitlement. So that's what institutional. Are you okay? So that's C, legitimate. That's a right, a right. Okay, all right. Ghana free senior high school policy is best described as example of which welfare delivery method? Which welfare delivery method? Ghana free senior high school is what? So free senior high school is under what? Under the universal. Under the universal. Are you okay? Under the universal. So that is C. Okay, wait. We are doing well. All right. So 13, the answer has even come, but then we'll go back small. No worry. The answer come, but yes, so we did inside. Okay, with the 13, he said, which of the following correctly describe the neo-conservative model of welfare? He said that it promotes this, it aligns this. So what do you think will be the answer for the number 13? Number 13. Number 13, I said it. Number 13, I said it. When I was explaining, I said it. So number 13 is what? The number 13 is what? You said that the neo-conservative they what model they agrees or they aligns with the residualist approach. So it's what? It's B. 13 is B. Yes, it's B. It's B. And let's go to 14. According to Midley, social development is best defined as you see this one too is a definition based question. So it means we have to look at the definition before we can know. But then Midley define social welfare as what? Promotes well-being of population of a whole within a dynamic multifaceted development process. So that is also B. So 14 is also actually B. 14 is what? Is B. All right. Now let's look at um, question number 15. Okay. 15. He said the three core issues addressed at the 1995 Copenhagen Social Summit were, see this one too, you have to know. Are you okay? So with the Copenhagen 1995 summit, they discussed poverty eradication, employment generation, and social harmony. So 15 is B. 15 is B. 15 is B. Please, I hope we are enjoying, right? It's going well, right? All right, 15 is B. All right, 16, the answer has come back, so we'll do it. All right. So with 16, said, how many sustainable development goals were adopted? So the answer is what? 17. I said it earlier on. So 17 sustainable development goals. 17. So the answer is C. 17. All right, the answer is C. Number 17. The human development approach associated with Amartya Sen focuses on, that's number what? Number 17. So according to Amartya Sen, social human development approach is associated with what? This is number 17. What will be the answer? Number 17. 17 is what? Is C. So expanding people's capabilities, freedom, and well-being. So according to Amata Yassin, when we talk of human development approach, it's all about expanding people's capabilities. Are you okay? Their freedom and also their well-being. So number 17 is also C as well as 16. Okay. Now let's go to number 18. He said a key criticism of modernization theory is that. So this one, I think I didn't explain that one, but I think we know. So the answer is B. So it is what? Eurocentric, and it ignores local cultural context. So that is what an answer for question number 18. So number 18, the answer is what? Is B for number 18. Is B. Is B. All right, number 18 is B. Now number 19. Number 19 says that, oh, the answer has come. Don't worry. Definitely the answer, and the answer will come. It says, which of the following best illustrate development as an action? Development as an action. Okay. So he said that the government launching the LEAP program to give cash transfer to the extreme poor. Are you okay? So government launching the LEAP program is development as an action, because you want to help people come out of poverty. So that's why that's action. That is action. Okay. He said one advantage of universal welfare program over selective one is that. Please, what will be the answer for question number 20? Question number 20. Question number 20. What will be the answer for question number 20? This one I explained to you guys. Universal welfare programs. So what will be the answer for question number 20? Number 20. Number 20. Number 20. What will be the answer? Please, I'm listening. What will be the answer for question number 20? Question number 20. So the answer is B. So universal welfare is what? With universal welfare, it limits stigma. So there is no stigma. Stigma is not attached to it. So that's B, as I said earlier on. Okay, number 21. A social worker in Kumasi who trains unemployed youth in bed work and connect them to market system is best demonstrating which feature of developmental social work. Is it the micro level, linking social development, or providing residual services? So this one is what? Is B, linking social and economic development effort to ensure well-being. So when a social worker is training people and also linking them to the market, it means that you are what? Linking them, you are linking social and economic development effort to ensure that their well-being and their welfare are being what? Attained. So 21 is also B. 21 is B. Now, 22, according to the course that we are studying, which characteristics of development ensures that intervention must make sense to the people? Okay. So with the characteristics of development, if development should make sense to the people, then it means that it's what? It's continuity. Okay. So when development makes sense to the people, it means that it's what? It's continuity. So 22 is what? Is C, continuity. When development makes sense to the people, it's continuity. So 22 is C. Is C. Is C. All right. 23. The people-centered perspective of development is based on the belief that this was the answer for question number 23. 23. 23. So with the people-centered, it believes that all humans can reach their full potentials when they are being empowered. So when people are being empowered, they can actually reach their full potential. So 23 is what? Is C. All right. Now 24. Which of the following is the distinct feature of social development approach to what? To social work practice. Are you okay? Are you okay? So this one, the answer is B. Linking social and economic development effort to ensure well-being. So the answer for 24 is also B. It's also B. Now we are almost done with the OBJ. I drafted 30, so we are almost there. Okay. So according to Bentley et al. 1995, an ideology is best defined as what? What is an ideology? What's an ideology? So it's what? It's a reasonably coherent structure of thought shared by a group explaining how society works and how it ought to work. So according to what? Bentley, they describe ideology as what? As B. B. That's a reasonably what? Coherent structure of thought. So that is B. Now let's look at what 20 says. So social development is described as productivist because So practice intervention function as what? Investments that contribute to positively and what? Economic development. So 26 is also actually B since it showed itself. So that's 26 is B. Now 27, 27, 27. 27. Which of the following best represents the humanitarian argument for collective welfare? Okay, so with collective welfare, countries with more extensive welfare system tend to be richer and have less poverty. So that is what? That's the argument for humanitarian what? Or collective welfare. That's their argument. So that's actually A. Okay, so 28. The developmental model of social welfare, that's the second school of thought, spearheaded by what James Midley, argues that. So what does the developmental model argues? So it argues that what? So please, who will help us with the 28? Is what? So 28 is what? Is C. So programs to improve the well-being should be embedded in what? In economic framework. So that's actually C. All right. Now 29. A social worker formally write to the regional minister challenging the road project that would demolish 500 poor homes without compensation. Which road does this best represent? So that is what actually advocate for structural changes. So 29 is B, advocacy. 29 is B. Is B. 29 is B. 29 is B. Okay. Now let's look at 30. So that will be the end for the OBJ. So which of the following is historical transitions in social welfare is correctly stated? So from charity to citizen rights. So at first it was termed as charity, but now it's deemed as a right. Are you okay? So with history of social welfare was once called charity, but now it's deemed as a right. Are you okay? So please, that is all for the OBJ. I hope we are fine. I hope we are fine with the OBJ. Please, are you fine with the OBJ? Yes. So the video will still be there, so you can still come and access the video and refreshing up your mind on them. Okay. All right. Now let's look at the true or false aspect. True or false aspect. True or false aspect. Okay. He said this one, I think, like I said, so I brought the answer and I also gave the explanation why the answer is true or false. So he said, dash identify development action referring to social change that takes place over a long period of time. Are you okay? Due to inevitable process. So this one, Thomas did not say that. So it's a false statement. Are you okay? It's a false statement. It's a false statement. Now let's look at, he said the post-development perspective support the idea that development agencies were doing purely altruistic what? Work, completely free from political. This one is a false statement. It's a false statement. So the question number 2 is also false. It's also false. Now, universal welfare services such as Ghana's free senior high school are associated with institutional and developmental models of what? Welfare. So now let's look at the question 3. You see, when I was explaining, I told you that when we look at the welfare provision, the universal welfare, we can classify the institutional and developmental under it. So you see, the question number 3 is actually talking about that thing, what I was trying to explain to you guys. So now the question number 3 is true. Are you okay? It's true. Selective welfare programs are mean tested. Are you okay? And it's a true statement. So every selective welfare program is a means tested program. It's a true statement. Okay, it's a true statement. It's a true statement. Please, I hope we can see it. Can we see it well, please? Please, can we see it well? I think this one is very small. If I do it like this, it becomes very small. Please, can we see this? Can you see it very well? If someone says no. Please, what of this one? What of this one too? This one too still we can't see. So they say maybe I have to reduce it small. You can let me reduce it small. What of this one too? Can we see this one? Or this one too, it has become very. Let me try if I can expand it. Okay. Okay, let me actually do it this way. Let me let me expand it and bring the okay. Is this one all right? I think this one should be all right. Hey, they are saying this one too is not all right. What of this one too? This what of this one too? Okay, they are saying it's okay now. All right. All right. So he said selective warfare programs are mean tested. Hey, someone is also saying. Please let me know if it is okay or it's not okay, so I can adjust it. I can do the adjustment. Okay. Is it fine or it's not fine? Someone is saying no. This one, if I do like this, it becomes very big. Hmm? Become very big. Okay. I guess it's okay now, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm also busy we move. Like I say, we move and pack. Don't go ahead, man. Okay. Now that is it. That is it. So number four says selective welfare programs are means tested, and as I said, it's a true statement. Okay. Number five says that social development, as defined by Midley, is concerned only with vulnerable and improvised groups. That's a false statement. Okay. So it's a false statement. So actually, these are the true or false questions. Okay. These are the true. Okay. Now, question number six says that um, the Copenhagen Summit in 1995 identified poverty eradication. So this is very true. It's a true statement. It's a true statement. Okay, it's a true statement. So seven says arguments against collective welfare provision is that it violates individual freedom, it violates individual freedom because redistribution through taxation is seen as something that they did not consent to. So this is what a true statement. So seven is true. Seven is true. All right. Question number eight says, I'm coming. The human development approach associated with Amartya Sen focused primarily on GDP growth as the main. So this is a false statement. It's a false statement. Yes, a false statement. Now, number nine says social development is described as interventionist because it requires human agency in the form of government projects. That's a true statement. So nine is a true statement. Nine is a true statement. Now let's look at question number 10. Okay, so 10 says that in a residual model, social welfare support is considered as universal right. It's a false statement because residual is not universal. Residual is restricted, it's limited, it's targeted. All right. In pre-industrial social welfare in Ghana and Africa, Africa was largely provided by the state through specialized and profe- professionalized institutions. It's a false statement. False statement. The Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development adopted in September 2015 include 17 sustainable goals and 169 targets. That's very true. That's a true statement. So 12 is true. Now 13 says that social development is one of short-term intervention that provides immediate results for targeted communities. It's a false statement. A false statement. Okay. Now and so on and so forth. So I think okay. So I think let me delete this one. I did, but I didn't come. So I think I actually brought 14 questions for you guys. So now let's move on to the one I really want to. Okay, so actually this one is the one I really want us to do very well. Okay, that is the matching. the matching. Okay. Now you see, we have perspective of development. So he said, match the practical scenario to the correct development perspective. Match the practical scenario to the correct development perspective. Someone says I can't see. Please can't you see? For this one, I think you have to see this one. Please can't you see? Or you can see. Please can't you see? I think you have to be able to see this one. Okay. Now you see question one, question two, question three, question four, question five. Now let's read the first question. Now when we read the question, then we try to link it to which developmental perspective that we think it actually goes with. Are you okay? Okay. Now he said the Ghanaian government remove import tariffs and allow foreign companies full market access, arguing that economic prosperity will eventually reach the poorest community on its own. So please, with the question one I just read, what perspective do you think falls under? The Ghanaian government removes import tariffs and allow foreign companies full market access, arguing that economic prosperity will eventually reach the poorest community. You say you can't see this one. I should zoom it. Please, is it okay now? Those who say I should zoom it, is it okay now? Okay, so let me actually I'm coming. Okay, I'm sending it to a fresh page so that we can actually see it there. Okay, so with this example I just read on the question one, you see full market access. So it means it's what? It's new liberalism. Okay, is that you fine? All right. Question number two. A district assembly in the eastern region holds community consultation and trains local women to lead their own cooperative businesses, believing that every person has the capacity to develop themselves. So example two is what? Is what perspective? Example two is what? Example two is what? So with example two, we will match it to A because example two is people centered. So example two is A. Example one is B, people centered. Okay. Now, example three. Example three says that a government build state-owned factories, fund public universities, and control major industries, believing modernization is the state responsibility is what? So the question number three, a government builds state-owned factories, funds public universities, blah, 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 and its state responsibility is what? Is the answer is what? Is E. So question number three, the answer is A, is what? Structuralism. Because governments having the responsibility of the state is what? Structuralism. Please, I hope we are getting it. So that is how we do the matching. So is it question number three? The answer, we will match it to E. Is E. All right. Question number four. A researcher argues that decades of foreign aid have kept African countries dependent and poor, ultimately benefiting donor nations and agencies more than recipients. So, what do you think will be the answer for question number four? What do you think will be the answer for question number four? A researcher argues that decades of foreign aid have kept Ghana or have kept Africa countries dependent and poor, ultimately benefiting donor nations and agencies more than recipients. So this is what? This is the answer is what? Is C, post-development. So the answer for question four is what? Post-development. Because for them, they believe that development is not a good thing because people use the idea of development to exploit others. To exploit others. So the answer for question number four is what? Is C, post-development. Question number five. An international NGO funds a vocational training program for widows in Brown and Hartford, recognizing that some some groups lose out in capitalist progress and need targeted support. So this one, what is the answer for this one? Question number five. Question number five. The question number five is what? Is D, interventionism. Because if we are trying to put intervention to help support those who are, sorry, those who are poor, sorry, it will come back. Okay. Those who are poor is what? Is interventionism. It's interventionism. So that was the last question. Yes. So the last question, number five, is what? Is intervention. So you see, I've actually brought the answers here. So number one, as we all got it correct. Number one was neoliberalism. Number two was people centered, as we all got it right. Three was structuralism. Four was post-development, and five was what? Interventionism. So that was um, the answers for what we just did. So we've all done well. We've all done well. We've all done well. Okay. Now let's move on to the next episode. He said, meanings of development. He said we should match the practical example to the correct meaning of development. Okay, meaning of development. Okay, now the first one is, let me actually send it to a first page so we can begin there. All right, so this is a first page. Okay. Now, he says we should match the correct meaning, the correct example with the meaning of development. So one is why he said the Ghanaian government launches a 2-year program to build community health centers in all 200 and what 61 districts to reduce maternal mortality with a clear budget and implementation plan. So what do you think will be the answer for question number one? What do you think will be the answer for question number one? What meaning of development is this? The Ghanaian government launches a 2-year program. Launches a 2-year program to build community health center in all 261 districts to reduce maternal. So this what? Development as what? As an action. Okay, as an action. Now let's look here. It says over 150 years, the Ashanti region transformed from the subsistence farming economy into a major commercial hub due to trade, migration, and market pressures with no single policy driving it. So this is what? So the question number two is what? Development as what? Development as what? As what? So as a historical process. So the question number two is C. Question number two is C. Because that over 150 years. Are you okay? So that's C. Now question number three. Civil society, youth group, and academic blah 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 produce a blueprint of what Ghana should look like in 2057. So what Ghana should look like in 2057 is what? Development as a vision. So question number three is actually A. It's actually A. Development as a vision. Okay. Now you see, this is what we must expect. This is what we must expect in the exams. Okay. All right. Now let's look here. Social warfare models, methods, and concepts. Match the scenario to the correct warfare model, method, and concept. Okay. So a mother applies for a government scholarship, undergoes a home visit and income assessment, is approved but tells friend she is too embarrassed to mention she is on program. So what do you think will be the answer for this scenario? Is it neo-conservative model, residual slash selective with stigma, institutional model, or universal model? Yes, it's too easy. Yes, it's not difficult. As I told you guys, it's not difficult. So let's have that mentality that it's not difficult and then we can actually do it. Okay. A mother applies for government scholarship, undergoes, listen, undergoes a home visit and income assessment. So that line is very, very important. Okay. So that line is very important. So if a mother applies for a government scholarship, undergoes a home visit and income assessment, is approved but tells a friend that she is too embarrassed to mention or tell a friend, what do you think will be? What do you think will be? What do you think it will be? Please, what do you think it will be? The person says it's too easy. Okay. All right. So as they've written there. Yes. So that's what a residual. All right. Every child in Ghana. Question number two. Every child in Ghana, whether from Airport Hills or Nima, attends senior high school. So what do you think will be? What what family do you think this one will belong to? Okay, so that's what. So every child in Ghana, whether Airport Hills or Nima, attends senior high school is what? Is institutional model. Institutional model. So that is C. That is C. Okay, sorry. A private hospital consortium lobbies government to hand over management of the NHIS, arguing market competition will improve quality and reduce costs. So what do you think question number three will be? What do you think question number three will be? A private hospital consortium lobbies government to hand over management of the NHIS, arguing market competition will improve quality and reduces. Please, what do you think will be the answer for question number three? Question number three. Question number three. Question number three. Question number three. Is this question number three? Please, what do you think will be the answer? Someone says institutional. Someone says you. Please, what do you think? So you see, a private hospital consortium lobbies government to hand over management. So when there's a lobby, it means there's a criteria. Okay, so that's A. Okay, so the three is A. No conservative model. Okay, it's A. All right. Now, a government offices create food vouchers specifically for locate lactating mothers living below the poverty line in three northern regions. A government office create food vouchers specifically for lactating mothers living below the poverty line in three northern regions after assessing household income. So what do you think will be the answer for four? Someone says D. Someone says D. So question number four is what? It's selective because you see when it comes to um, lactating mothers, okay, those who are breastfeeding their children, it's not every mother who is breastfeeding their children. So it's what? It's what? It's not something that is universal. Okay. So question number four is selective in nature. Okay. So it's selective. So four is selective. So that is what? E, selective in nature. Now, five says that even the answer is there. It said a Nordic country builds a comprehensive welfare system covering all citizens. So all citizens underline. Okay. So if all citizens, then it means it's what? It's universal. Are you okay? So when something is altered, they feel that it's institutional model because institutional model is universal in nature. Okay, so that is it. So this is also for the models and other things that we talked about. Okay, I think this one I just brought it, but um, I think you can look at it, yes, and maybe after the session you can come and access the video and maybe you can look through it. But even though I added it, but I didn't want us to go through this. I wanted us to go through the most familiar ones that you know. Okay, but as I said, I've added the answers to it, so you can actually come and what and access it. So you see, the answer is part of it. Yes, so the answers are there, but this is not what I actually wanted us to. So this aspect too. So you see, he said each statement below is a practical illustration of a definition of or a concept advanced by a specific scholar. Match the statements in column A to the correct author in column B. Okay. Now you see, he said, in Accra Nema community, a social work program does not wait for crisis. Are you okay? Now, these are some things that the authors have explained. Okay, so you look at their explanation and you link it to the author. Are you okay? So that is it. So this one too, I'm just trying to show you the how a sample of it. So go through the 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 work and you know you get the answers there. I just wanted to show you the format alone. Are you okay? Time is fast spent, so I don't want to dwell much on them. But I just want to know how it will be. So column A will be definitions, and column B will be what? Will be let's say the scholars who define them or the authors. So you try to match the definitions to the scholars. Are you okay? So that is it. So that this is also a part of it that I actually wanted you to know or actually wanted you to see. Are you okay? So that is it. So this is actually the end of the the tutorial. As I said, the format that will come has been shown, but I think I'm coming. I think I actually also did something here. Yeah, I actually did audios for you guys in explaining all the lectures from lecture 1 to lecture 6, but actually it's very big. I forgot, so I can't send it to you guys. I don't know. It can't be shared. I tried sending, but it's not coming. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So I think I also have this multiple choice. We won't go through them. I want us to go through a certain place. Yes. A certain place. Yes. Yes. Aha. This one. I want us to do this one. I want us to do this one. Terminologies in addressing poverty in Ghana. Terminologies. Now it says, you see, we have the terminologies here. Terminologies, we have them here. Poverty relief, poverty alleviation, poverty reduction, poverty eradication. Now we have examples here. He said, government provide food during floods. Okay, government provides food during flood. So please, what terminology do you think will address or go? Can we match with the first scenario? Government provides food during flood. Is what? Government provides food during flood. Is what? Is poverty relief, because it's what? It's a short-term assistance. So that's the first one. He said long-term training programs for youth. Long-term training program for youth. Please, what do you think this one will be? Long-term training program for youth. So if there's a long-term training program for youth, it's what? The second example, long-term training program for youth. Long-term training program for youth is what? Let's look at the column B and column A. Column A are scenarios. Column B are the answers we are matching to it. So a long-term training program for the youth is what? It is poverty relief, alleviation, eradication, or eradication. Sorry, or reduction. So what answer goes with the second scenario? So the second scenario is what? Is poverty alleviation. Poverty alleviation. Okay, poverty alleviation. Now it says policies aimed at reducing poverty rate nationally. So policies aimed at reducing poverty rate nationally is what? It's poverty reduction, because we are, when we say rate means percentage. Okay, rate means percentage. So if you are reducing the percentage of what? Poverty nationally is what? Poverty reduction. This are we good? Are you good? And the last one, he said government commit to eliminating poverty completely. So government commitment is what? Poverty eradication. So you see this one, I intentionally brought the answers against each scenario. Are you okay? So these are scenarios and these are eight corresponding answers. These are you good? Yes, it is already matched perfectly because I intentionally did that. But then the important thing is for us to know the examples. Okay, the examples, and the examples are the most important thing. Okay. Now let me see if I do something. Yes, 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 yes. This one too is here. This one too is here. So you see, this one too is matched. This one too is might. So you see, vulnerability, as I explained, is when something contingency happens and puts someone deeper into what? Into poverty. So when a farmer loses crops due to drought, drought is what? It's a contingency, because drought is what? It's a natural disaster. So when someone lose their crop due to drought, is what? Vulnerability. Okay. Now he said a woman cannot influence decision in her community. It means they are powerless. Okay. So if someone says how many questions, so I'm sure you can have about, I think, 120. Yes, 120 or so. You can have about 120. Yes, 120. Okay. So he said a woman cannot influence decisions in her community. So with this one, is what? It means the woman is powerless. That's what powerlessness. He said a child lacks access to school. So if someone lacks access to school, is what? Is isolation. It's isolation. A sick elderly man cannot walk. So that's what? Physical weakness. So these are all examples under it. Are you okay? Now we have warfare concepts and models. Are you okay? So this one too is also there. So I actually had time to do all this. Charlie. It's actually time consuming, but anyway. Yes. So this one too is also social welfare concept model and also methods. Okay. So government gives free senior high school. It's what? Social assistance. Workers contribute to pension scheme. So pension scheme is what? Social insurance. Communities contribute to funeral fund. It's what? Informal protection. Government enforce minimum wage. Is what? Social legislation. Okay. So these are all also answers to it. So at least it just is like this is what we should expect, God willing, tomorrow. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think maybe we will do this. Then that will be the last thing for us. I think I'm exhausted. Yes. So dimensions and measurement of poverty. So here it said a family earns below $2.15 per day, and this is what this is the poverty line. The $2.15 per day is the poverty line. So if a family earns below it, is what? It's absolute poverty, because it's below the poverty line. Are you okay? Now, a worker earns less than average citizens. So when a worker earns less than average citizens, it's also what? Relative poverty. Because why? We are trying to compare. So when we are comparing once our social status, are you okay? So when we are comparing, when we are ranking the population, is what? Relative poverty. A child lacks education and healthcare. It's what? Multi-dimensional poverty. Because with multi-dimensional, it looks at several dimensions. So if you are looking at the dimension of education and healthcare, it's what? Multi-dimensional poverty. Now he said government ranks poorest 10%. That is what? Relative poverty measurement. Because relative deals with what? Rankings of what? The entire population per capita income. Are you okay? So this is also one thing that we must expect. So they are perfectly matched, as we normally see. And these are also authors and also their definition, of which I didn't want us to go. So let's end it here. So we are ending on the dimensions and measurement of poverty. So we have scenarios. So going tomorrow, you will see column A, column B, column A, column B. So we are matching column A to column B. Are you okay? So that's actually what the session is all about. Yeah. So that is it for today. Let me put it that way. I know we are all exhausted. Yes, we are all exhausted, but then, as I said, it is for the good. Yes, it is for the good. It is for the good of us all. So we will do our best in this exam, and I know in this exam too, it will be very very powerful. Yes, and I know by God's grace, we are we are very much prepared. Okay, by God's grace. Yeah, so by God's grace, we are very, very much prepared, and I wish you all the best in this exam. So the video will still be online. You can still come and access the video online. So maybe in the morning, right now it's late, so kindly sleep. When you wake up in the morning, kindly come online, access it, then try to listen to everything that we've discussed, the explanation, and go through the samples as well. And I'm very sure you will be able to make the most of it. Okay. So thank you very much for your time. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I think it's late, and I wish you all the best in your exam. Okay. So ciao, ciao, bye bye, everybody. Okay. So please, before you exit, if you haven't subscribed to our page, can you subscribe to our page for us? Okay. And you haven't, if you join and you did not like the session, kindly like the session for us as well. Okay. All right. I'm very positive you will do well. Trust me. You go into tomorrow, you will say that indeed this tutorial was very, very helpful. Okay. So I wish you all the best. Good luck in your exam. Okay. Now I can say final bye bye. Okay. Okay. I can say final bye bye to you all. So bye bye everybody. Bye bye everybody. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Okay. And as I said, right now you are refreshed, sleep. When you wake up at dawn, yes, you, if I were you, I can just plug my earpiece, then I will just be listening to what we did. Trust me. Wake up in the morning, use 2 hours to listen to what we did, and go to the down room, and you come and tell me that Manuel, what we did really was really impactful. Okay. All right. Bye bye everybody.